Hi and welcome to AudioTutes.com. My name is Mo Volans, and in this tutorial we'll be looking at an ongoing project which has seen us create several instrument parts, including drums, bass, some MIDI instruments, strings and pad, and also a top line. We then went into creating a drum intro and also a breakdown. After the breakdown, we learned how to create impact and tension so that when everything came back in, it was powerful enough. And now we're going to look at fills and introducing new instrument lines back into the arrangement. I've actually created 3 different types of fill, and I'm going to play those to you now, and then we're going to break them down into their separate elements and see how they work. Now, as you can hear, each of these fills and breaks are quite different, but they all serve the same purpose of introducing a new instrument or section of the track. So let's take a look at each section in detail. The first section is really the most simple kind of fill you can create. It's just a drop, where you remove some of the drums or some of the instruments so that it's a signal to the crowd or to the DJ or to the people listening that something is going to occur. Let's take a listen to this one, and then we'll break it down into its separate elements. So as you can hear, this fill's pretty simple, but there is a few things going on. So first of all, let's take a listen to the drums in isolation. So all I've really done there is drop the kick drum and a few other percussion loops and apply a high pass filter on the drum master. We can see this if we open up the automation tracks, simply going from 0 to about 580 Hz. This basically gives a small signal that something's going to happen, and in conjunction with that I've used a reverse effect that we've been using throughout the track, and I've also applied a low cut to the strings and sent some reverb to them as well. When you combine these small edits with changes made on the other side of the break, like bringing in the top line and taking out the strings, it's really effective, and if you're bringing in just a simple line, this can be just the right technique. If however you're bringing in more than one part, or you're looking for more energy, we might have to step things up a gear and do a little more programming. The next fill is a little bit more complex in nature and relies pretty heavily on drum edits to create some more energy. This allows us to bring more parts in on the other side of the fill and generally create more of a climax. Let's have a listen to the drums in isolation so we can hear what they're doing. So this is really quite similar to the first technique, where we're creating a variation just before the event occurs, but instead of removing drums, we're actually increasing the amount of programming. You can see here that I've programmed in some extra kicks, some extra claps. I've also repeated the loops. This just increases the intensity before the new instruments come in. In addition to this, I've used the reverse effect again with an extra reverse effect here. I've also increased the amount of effects going to the bass, the strings and the top line. I've also used a high pass filter to take the bottom end off the bass, and also the synth roll that we used in the first larger breakdown. This contains quite a lot of automation, including pan, volume and delay. All of these combined make quite an effective and energetic fill and allow us to bring in not only the strings but open the bass up in frequency to create an entirely new section of the track. Let's take a listen to all of these elements combined so we can hear them in action. Fills and drops of this kind are great for increasing energy and introducing new elements, but when you want to drop things down and take things away, you might have to take a different approach. To show you an example of this, I've actually programmed a mini breakdown. These can be really useful for when you're winding the track down or are working towards a drum outro. All I've really done here is cut out most of the main elements, including the kick and other core percussion sounds, filtered down many of the instruments, and taken out the bass. This breakdown's only 8 bars long, but nicely ties together the two sections of the track. I'll leave you with this playing out now, and hopefully with these little tips and tricks, you should be able to start to program your own fills and join sections of your own tracks together nicely.